podcast, produced by the Podcast Squad at Poplar Tree Elementary, where we share stories and happenings from around the school. Welcome to the PT Podcast. My name is Brecken McCabe, and I am a member of the Podcast Squad and one of your hosts for today. Today we will be discussing whether you prefer paper books versus ebooks.
Hi, I'm Charlie Mathulia, another host for today. At this time, we'd like our guests to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Riddle, the school librarian here at Poplar Tree.
And I am Ms. Slicey. I am the technology specialist here at Poplar Tree.
Hi, I'm Chris Knight. I'm helping with the production.
Have you ever read a book you really like? Do you use ebooks often? Which one do you prefer?
This podcast will be all about that. Welcome to the next episode of the PT Podcast, Paper Books versus Ebooks. We've sent out a poll to the school asking their opinion on paper books versus ebooks.
At the end, we'll see which category won. Do you prefer ebooks or paper books, Mrs. Riddle?
So this is a complicated answer for me because it's a complicated question. So as a librarian, I deal with both paper books and ebooks. So my personal preference, and this is going to shock you, but for my own reading and enjoyment, I prefer an ebook. I know.
We've heard before.
Yeah,
We've heard before.
You've heard before, yes.
I don't know where.
I love my Kindle Paperwhite because I can read it in bed without having to turn the pages. I can just tap it. And then I also have tons and tons of books on there, so I can switch which book I'm reading depending on my mood. Now, if you're asking me as your librarian, I prefer to read to my students paper books. I also prefer to read to my own child paper books. So it's really depends on the time, the place, and the situation. But yes, for my own enjoyment, I prefer an ebook.
Okay, that was a little shocking.
Oh man, I'm sorry to have shocked you all.
It's fine. All right, now Brecken.
You already explained why you prefer ebooks. Sorry. So we'll skip this question.
Does anybody else want to share what they
I want to know.
Sure, I will. I prefer paper books because, it's just so much nicer, I feel like. Because the pages and, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you love the smell of a new paper book?
Yes.
So good.
Kind of.
So when I open up a box of books that we've ordered for the library, the first thing I do is just take a big whiff because there's nothing like that smell of new book.
I got a stack of books for Easter, and my room smelled amazing.
Love it.
You don't get that with an ebook, guys.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Brecken, what do you prefer, paper or ebooks?
In just free time, I prefer ebooks because they're generally easier to access. You can have a paper book on the other side of a building that you have to go and get. But you can just pull out a phone or a computer and look it up, find maybe a PDF of it to read.
I also just like looking at. I like looking at just the book in front of me. It's just nice.
I like paper books because they're much, in my opinion, they're much easier to use because you pull out an ebook, it's got so many buttons. Plus, sometimes it's there's a cost for it, so it's just easier. You already have you have a paper book, and then you pull out a Kindle or something, and it's just a bunch of work. Also, the text, for me, sometimes the text is kind of small, so you have to scroll in every single page, and it's kind of annoying.
I think a lot depends on what kind of book you're reading. Like a graphic novel, I feel like you would definitely want the paper book in front of you, right? It's so hard to scroll through, and for me, my eyes don't look at it as easy when it's on a screen as to when it's in my hand. Same with a picture book.
That's very true.
And a Kindle, you have to buy it, and then sometimes you have to buy the books too. So it's two things.
I will say, so I actually I have not been a reader. Like, I don't love to read, not gonna lie. I usually read when I'm at the beach in the summer. No worries, right? I'm just sitting on the beach. And I usually read from, my husband has a Kindle Paperwhite. So recently, though, I decided I want to read more. And so over winter break, I started reading. And I used his ebook, his Paperwhite. I have since then read 8 books.
Wow.
So much so that I bought my own Kindle Paperwhite just last week. Because I was like, I want my own. His is kind of old, and it was actually kind of slow. Like, I clicked to turn the page, and it would be like, doo, 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 and then you turn the page. But the reason I really like it is, like, I finished a book on the way to the beach for spring break. And then I needed another one. I didn't have one. So then I just went in the store, and I could look and see. But, and maybe you know this, Ms. Riddle, I'm not very good at, like, I know you can rent books from the library on your Kindle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to get into that.
Oh,
right now, if I keep reading at the rate I'm reading, I'm going to spend a lot of money.
Oh,
on these books, right?
Oh, we'll have to do a tutorial. It's
Yes.
super easy.
Yes. Okay.
One thing I love about ebooks is my mom and I actually share an ebook account.
Oh.
So we can actually read the same book. We do have to purchase the book, but we can read it at the same time on our Kindle and our Kindles and talk about it, which is really fun.
That is really cool.
Yeah, like what apps do you use?
So to actually get books from the library, it's an app called Libby, and you would have the app on your phone, or I believe you can do it on a computer too. And then you would attach your Amazon Kindle account to the Libby account, and so anything you get on Libby automatically goes to your Kindle. It's very easy.
And then but another reason I like it is paper books is because like whenever I go to the store library, I just like seeing all of the books just like in a row.
Oh yeah.
But then it's nice on an ebook, but it's not really the same.
I will say one of the things I like about a real book is being able to hold how much. Like, I love that on my Kindle it tells me how much of the book I have left. Like, if I'm like, oh, I'm over 50% of the way. Okay, great. But when you're holding the book, you can like feel how much you have left, even when you get down to I do like that about a paper book.
Miss Riddle, approximately how many of each do we have in our school library?
So we have over 18,000 paper books in our school library.
18,000?
I thought it was 15,000.
It's quite a. So we have 15,000 titles, but 18,000 copies. So if you've been to our school library, you'll know we have multiple copies of some books that are really popular. So that all adds up to a total of over 18,000.
Wow.
We have not very many ebooks, I will say. So when we were all doing virtual learning, I used a lot of our budget to purchase ebooks since people weren't able to come to the library and check out. So at that point, man, I couldn't even tell you. We probably had double what we have now. I think we have maybe 300 now.
Where did the rest of them go?
So when you purchase an ebook, and this is actually important to your conversation, when you purchase an ebook, you only purchase it for a certain amount of time. So it can be a 1-year purchase, a 2-year purchase, or a perpetual purchase, which means we have it forever. And those are very rare. So when we buy an ebook, it probably costs close to the same amount as a paper book, but we only have it for a certain amount of time. So that's kind of a downside to ebooks, and that's always a conversation in the library community, which people prefer.
That was my first question. But then have Poplar Tree ever sold them in a book fair?
So ebooks in a book fair?
Yeah.
No, I've never considered having ebooks in a book fair. That's something to think about.
It sounds like a good consideration because it doesn't sound like they'd be, like if you back order, then it sounds like they'd come much quicker than paper books.
Very true, very true.
Well, I have a question. So if we purchase an ebook in our library, how did the students get that ebook?
So we have, it's either an app or you can use it on your school computer. It's called Mac and Via. And so some of you might remember when we were doing virtual learning, I had a Mac and Via spotlight every week to show students the different ebooks that we had and showcase them. And then I also did a lot of tutorials at that time on how to access ebooks. At this point, since ebook usage is pretty low, I have a step-by-step tutorial and video in the library Schoology, and I just kind of drop that there and remind students that it's there in case they want to use it.
So, Miss Riddle, what do you think is your most favorite book that you have read in the library?
So this is an easy, no-brainer question for me. Oh no! So my favorite chapter book is called *The Tale of Despero* by Kate DiCamillo. Oh, it's amazing! And very sadly, recently our library copy was broken beyond repair, which happens with well-loved books. So I did have to order a new copy.
Has it come yet?
No, it has not come yet, but I have a couple copies myself, so I was thinking, what do I need multiple copies for? I might just put one in the library. But so then my favorite picture book is a book called Stuck by Oliver Jeffers, and that's about a boy who gets his kite stuck in a tree and tries to get it down very unsuccessfully.
Wait, is this also in the library?
Yep, also in the library.
Did he have to be very goal-directed and resilient?
He did, and he was, I will say.
For sugar graduates everywhere.
Yeah, and Despero, the titular mouse from The Tale of Despero, is also very goal-directed and resilient. All he wants in this life is to become a knight and save a princess. And he's just a very tiny little
And
mouse.
then,
So,
what is your favorite book?
Oh gosh, this is hard.
In our library.
In our library.
I mean, in our library, that's even
it's
harder.
different. Like for her, it's so easy, and for you, like,
Well, yeah, if you asked me what my favorite technology app was, I'd be like, and Miss Lacey would have an answer for you right away.
I'm trying to think of what my kids bring home. Did we get Box Turtle?
Yeah.
Was that from the library?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the cutest book, and I read it to my kids because I don't know, one of them got it from the library. Box Turtle. Do you guys know what that book is?
No.
It's like this turtle that's going around and he's looking for a new shell, and then in the end realizes the shell he had in the beginning was really the best one. It's so cute, so I love that picture book. Here's the thing. Remember I said I wasn't really a good reader? So the books I'm reading right now are like for adults. So I can't think of any like kids books that I really. You know, one of my favorite chapter books that I always loved was Frindle.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
Yep, I remember reading that with my first year teaching with my third graders and loving it. And then Blake, my son, who's in third grade now, just read it, and so it was like I was excited.
I can relate to that. I first read it in third grade.
And then
I think we did too.
And then
right?
because of that, I also read, I don't know, but because of that, I also read
But last holiday concert.
No Talking.
Oh, yes, No Talking was a
Map
good
Trap, maybe? Map Trap by the same author.
Map Trap, The Report Card.
The report card.
There are a lot of good books by
And then-
Andrew Clements
And then
that are hard to get away from.
there's also a good picture book. It's called like the book with no words or like.
The book with no picture.
No,
Yeah.
the book with no pictures.
That one's a good one.
By BJ Novak. Excellent. Very popular.
And then, yeah.
Any other books that you guys like?
Oh yeah, I like
What are your favorites?
Harry Potter and Percy Jackson.
So good.
Like, what types like of genres are there? All genres?
The drama Stiltons?
No, what type of genre?
Oh, genres.
In the
Yeah,
library?
genres. Oh, yeah. I mean, so our library is different in some that we do not genreify. So, like, we don't have all the graphic novels in one place. We don't have all the mysteries in one place. I like to have them all mixed in so everyone can kind of browse everything. But yeah, I mean, we have mysteries, we have fantasy, we have sci-fi. Of course, you know, we have nonfiction genres too, like biography, poetry, you name it.
And then, what's your favorite genre?
My favorite genre? Well, I really love realistic fiction stories, so stories about people that could really happen. And I like to read books that make me cry, and I like to read books about experiences that are completely different from mine because I feel like it's very cool to put myself in the shoes of someone, you know, with a life very different from mine.
One of the authors I really like that I'm looking on my computer is Marcus Emerson.
Tell me more.
We have a few of his books in our library.
Oh.
By off the top of my head and my computer, he writes the Ben Braver series, the Diary of a Sixth Grade Ninja series, the Secret Agent Sixth Grader series, the Kid YouTuber series, the Recess Warriors series.
Oh, Recess Warriors, yeah.
I don't know any of those.
Toad Sweet Hero, Dodgeball Wars, Middle School Ninja Legacy. So
apparently he makes a lot of books that I have not read before. So like, and then I'll just find out he wrote something very popular and famous that I've never heard of, and then I start to read it, and then it's actually pretty good. And yeah.
I completely forgot about it, but I like the City of Ember series.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's so
That's awesome.
different than like us. Like,
It is. It really is. There's also a movie of it. Not as good.
No, like
I never
Movies
read
are- movies are
some
never
parts
as
are really
good.
funny
They're
though.
never
Some parts are really funny.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well, it's more funny in the book though. Still.
That's how I feel about Harry Potter because my husband has never watched the movies or read the books, or he had not watched the movies or read the books. And then we started watching the movie, and I'm like, "Aren't you confused? Don't you want to know?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, there's so much you don't know.
I know
I know. Like, this doesn't make sense. It's just not
the
the same.
movies never include as much as
No,
the
they
books.
can't.
Never.
Right?
Like
They
for
don't have enough time.
for Harry Potter, they had to make 2 movies for for one book.
The last
Mhm.
one. That was 2 parts.
The movies are good, but I like the book better.
I just love them both separately
Mhm.
for what they are.
Exactly. Agreed.
We read the book so many times that the covers falling off, and then we had to get a new series.
Well, if you had that on an ebook, you wouldn't. If the cover wouldn't fall off. Just saying.
As long as it didn't expire.
Oh, true. Okay, that's true.
Yeah, it will expire and you can't read it at all, which is probably the worst.
So didn't you guys get some data from students in the school about how they felt about ebooks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
We-
we were about to do
We
that.
made it completely random. We spun a wheel. It's all random. It's like
So don't feel bad if you didn't get it, or don't feel angry.
fucking.
Our first response with a choice of ebooks is Olivia from Mrs. Matula's class, who said, "Because when I use ebooks, it is on my Kindle." A Kindle is a kind of ebook reading device that has many books that you can read online.
A Kindle is a good way to familiarize yourself with ebooks. Thank you for responding, Olivia.
Our second response with the choice of ebooks is Victoria from Miss Loudon's class, who said you can physically hold them. She likes ebooks, but it's not as often that I use them because I don't have a good place to do it. I like it when you can flip the pages and look at all the pictures without having the screen on your ebook being brighted up.
I agree. It's always good to hold the original paper book.
Sometimes you don't know where to use an ebook. Thanks for responding, Olivia. Sorry, Victoria.
Our third response with the choice of paper books is James from Miss Knuckles' class, who said I have access to many books online, but I need to go out several times to get that many books.
It's sometimes much better to go out to the library to get paper books rather than ebooks, but sometimes you also have to go to the library.
Yeah, it's like a good exercise of. But yeah, you can also find ebooks in the library.
Ebooks are sometimes too easy to access. Thanks for responding, James.
Our last response to the choice of paper books is Tyler from Miss Lee's class. He said ebooks are kind of cheater in my opinion to real books because on apps like Maya you can read it. If you're a kindergarten who can't read or is learning how to read, you would strictly rely on Maya without it being able to use some other things.
Their reading skills.
Ebooks never feel as challenging as real paper books.
Picture books feel better to use as you are learning to read. Thanks for responding, Tyler.
Now, as we promised, here are the results to the poll that we sent to the school and we had 82 responses.
The winner is by 90.2 to 9.8% is
Paper books.
paper books.
That's quite a win.
Yeah.
And what does that for you? What does that do for you to know that, Miss Riddle?
So this is really good data for me because each year I have a budget for books to order, and that budget includes money for both paper books and ebooks. So it's good for me to know that the vast majority of students prefer paper books. So that's what I should focus
It
on
would
when I'm
be
placing
good
my
if we
orders.
got everybody, but that's like not.
Right. Well, it's a good sample size.
It is.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
no, that's what I was about to say. Because 82. Also, thanks to everybody who responded for this poem.
Thanks to Chris for helping with our script and our production.
And thank you for being a valued host today.
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Riddle.
My pleasure.
We hope everyone has a good day and learns something new about books.
Bye.
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 We hope you enjoyed this episode of the PT Podcast. Stay tuned for another episode coming